Well, I thought I'd come out, and we just had a big thunderstorm. The air is beautiful. I thought I'd come down to the river and feel what the air is like down here. Take my truck out for a drive. And lo and behold, immediately somebody shows up and just sits there with their lights on. Perps. And they just sit there hanging out the minute I stop at this little place. Just what everybody does, right? Sit in a parking lot with their headlights on. And there's a guy over here that's been here for about 5 minutes already. Chevy truck. Just sitting there with his lights on. Next to the Tesla chargers. Of course, he's not charging. He's just sitting there with his lights on. Isn't that amazing? Not many people come out here on a rainy night, but there he is. There he is with his lights on, just hanging out. There's the other car with the lights on. And there was another one down here. We'll see if he's still here. Oh, yes. He's been here for probably 10 minutes. Just hanging out with his lights on. White and red theme going on here. Here's the white one. Just brightening me. There's the red truck next to it. And he's just been sitting there for quite some while with his headlights on. This is not what normal people do in parking lots, is it? The real question is, they saw me taking my truck out. How did they know I'm going to come here? And of all things, this is, mind you, this is a river trail parking lot at about close to 10 at night. Most people don't rent U-Haul trucks to drive down to a riverfront park and hang out. I've mentioned before in videos that they have sensitized me to numerous things, and one of them, of all things, is the U-Haul trucks. That's how they do plausible deniability. They'll take normal vehicles and bombard you with them for a week or two, and then you're sensitized and you know they stalk you. Just like I went to a particular intersection and got gas a few minutes ago, and right when I get to the intersection, precisely timed, a car will go by that same intersection with the Domino's pizza thing on top. And I've got some guy behind me wondering what I'm doing, so I'll just move along here. But, yeah. It's really crazy. Hard to drive and do this at the same time, but, yeah. It's funny, they'll have U-Haul trucks just show up wherever I'm going, in the weirdest places, in weird parking lots. These aren't things that people normally use U-Haul trucks for. You don't usually just rent them to drive around to go down to your river park, or to just park in all these, just to cruise around town and are stalked by my house in. But that's what they do, and that's what they do, believe it or not, with the Domino's car. They'll have the big domino on top, and it'll be timed. I call it intercepts. They'll go through the exact same intersection exactly at the time I go through, and it's only certain intersections. And that's the crazy way they run this sickening, tax dollar guzzling Stasi program. I'm really surprised there's no police here just sitting here right now. They had a policeman late at night when I came through town just sitting at a car wash that I have to drive by. Just got out of his car and he's walking around this car wash. There was no crime going on there. Multiple times per day, up to a dozen times a day, every time I go out the door of my house, a police siren or fire siren will go off somewhere in my hearing, right around my area of town. Over and over. We do not have that many calls in this town. There is not that much crime or incidents to respond to. And there they are, just hanging out, lit up. Oh, we've got two of them there with their lights on now. This is what everybody does, right? They just hang out with their lights on. Perps. I'll bet they get $100 a shot in gift cards just to come down here and do this retarded stuff. Absolutely crazy. And you can see here, the truck's still sitting there with his lights on. And that car's still sitting there with his lights on, doing some little street theater skit. But such is life in the organized gang stalking matrix. Plausible deniability. And of course, if any non-TI person, and there's a synchronized horn honk right when I go by. And look, we've got another one that's joined the crowd. Just sitting there, car facing the wrong way, right as I pass by with their lights on. just pointed at me. It's like the videos I've made before. Make great InfraGard money with any car that has at least one headlight functioning. Look over here. Here's some really smart creatures, if you can see them. There's a couple deer here by the river. These are intelligent creatures. They don't have the kind of mind capacity to think to stalk people for money. They're just out there minding their own business, surviving and thriving without needing to stalk and harass each other. Instead, they help each other because they're smarter than humans by far, and they're sure less conniving and more honest. I really miss my dogs. It turns out they were the most loyal friends I ever had. I thought I had lots of friends until gang stalking came into my life, and that pretty much took care of them. Yeah, we need to learn from these animals, don't we?